Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking Justice League, and there has come out a trailer on Instagram. It seems to have additional footage for the Justice League, so we're going to check out that trailer. If you haven't checked out my last video, which talks about why people may be looking at the CGI in Justice League, you should really check that out, because it points out some certain things that they have changed from the original Zack Snyder film in terms of aesthetics and how things look. And I think they should really dial back on that, because it takes away from the seriousness of the movie and the seriousness of the tone, and has people distracted onto the CGI and the special effects of the movie. So I think they should dial it back a bit. Anyway, let's look at this Justice League final trailer, this additional set of scenes that was found on Instagram. Here we go. Let's get into it. I see Batman standing on a gargoyle there. So let's see how it goes. Ready, guys? In 3, in 2, in 1.
We need you. I think maybe you need us.
How do you know your team's strong enough?
Strong man is strongest alone. You ever heard that?
That's not a saying. That's the opposite of what the saying is.
Ah, that looks good. Whoa.
This is the only way. The five of us. United.
Oh, awesome. As a bat signal, that's your...
Oh, sorry. That's your signal. That means we have to go now.
Yeah, that's what that means.
It's so cool.
All right, I do agree that this is a better trailer. I think that all that purple stuff that was in the trailer before, they need to dial down on that. You know what I'm saying? When we see images, and I'll post up one of the images of Wonder Woman, the Flash, Batman inside of the lair where Steppenwolf and his forces are, it really looks kind of creepy. It's kind of horrific, and that's the kind of vibe you have to get off of this movie. They need to dial back on those purple colors, that kaleidoscopic look. You know, that stuff works for things like Guardians of the Galaxy. It works for things like Avengers, where the characters are not taken that seriously. In this particular movie, the characters are taken seriously. And so when you have all those kaleidoscopic colors in there, you already have the red sky and the red background. You know, that can take people out of it. And you hear people talk about CGI, because the colors seem abnormal. Now, if you have a context for the colors in the movie, it makes sense. But I would just say right now, I just don't think, given what we've seen with Steppenwolf and his forces, and even the first invasion of the Earth, that you need to have purples in there. It just doesn't fit. All right, I can see the other things where, the buildings are being encapsulated with these stuff that's coming out from under the ground. But I think they took it a little too far. You can keep the reds, you can keep the oranges. If you're going to do a purple, do it so that it looks cryptic, it looks scary, it looks spooky. Now, I know one of the critiques by Warner Brothers, I'm guessing the executives, and also maybe some of the people, is that the movie was a little too dark. No, it's not a little too dark, because the darkness keeps a realism to the movie. It keeps it grounded. When you come with these huge, tremendous colors in there, it just, it's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? So you've got to balance off your color palettes. Even if you want to keep it purple, it needs to look cryptic. It needs to bring some kind of chill into you, make you scared, feel cold about the world, apocalypse, what kind of world it is. So while you don't want it too dark so you can't make out what the heck what are we watching, you want it to also be something where it's a balance. And even if you want to put color in there, like I was cool with the red skies. Well, I knew it was always going to be red, but I knew they took it to another level with redness. They have to, you got to dial it back a bit. All right, this movie is not a movie. It's not a Marvel movie, and that's something Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns and all these other guys need to understand. As much as you're doing comic books, this is not exactly a comic book. This is a comic book put to realism. These are real live action characters. So if you make it too, and that's where Zack Snyder knew the balance. If you make it too comic booky, you know what happens? Now the realism is lost, and the significance and the tension and the all the parademons and Steppenwolf's forces, now they begin to become like fodder, and Steppenwolf looks like a joke because it's just these growing animated things, and people only think of it as an animated cartoon. This is not an animated cartoon. You have to differentiate between an animated cartoon and live action. That's something Zack Snyder knew how to walk that line. That's why he did certain color palettes. And that's what these guys will learn the hard way. This movie could flop hard, like a Batman or Robin film. It could flop hard based on your color palettes. So they need to be very careful about not going overboard with the color palettes. They need to dial those color palettes back big time. The third act was not subtle, okay? It wasn't subtle. The kaleidoscope bullshit, it don't fly with me, okay? I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it, folks. I'm just not feeling it. I'm just letting you know. I'm an honest guy. I'll let you know how I feel. So, once you know that, maybe you can reset your color palettes to suit for the hardcores. I'm a hardcore, alright? And I know some other hardcore saying that the movie looks like bullshit, and they're saying it because of the color palettes. It's not the CGI. It's the color palettes. So come good with your color palette, because if you want everybody to like it, if you want everybody on board, you better tweak that thing. Even if you got the colors and everything in there, you want to keep your purple, tweak your color palettes, alright? That's all I got to say. You guys have a great one.